1. Which of the following is a key principle of adult learning theory? A. Adults are motivated by external rewards only. B. Adults need to be taught step by step. C. Adults learn best when they see the immediate relevance of the material. D. Adults prefer passive learning experiences. 2. What is the primary purpose of a curriculum evaluation in adult education? A. To determine the level of student engagement. B. To assess the effectiveness of teaching strategies. C. To measure the effectiveness of the physical classroom environment. D. To evaluate the content length of the program. 3. Which of the following is a feature of a well-designed mentoring program? A. Assigning mentors without clear goals or expectations. B. Having a flexible structure that can adjust to mentee needs. C. Focusing only on the technical skills of the mentee. D. Providing limited communication between mentor and mentee. 4. In the context of regulatory compliance, what is the primary role of a supervisor in an educational setting? A. To ensure students are only following written materials. B. To create an environment of safety, respect, and ethical practices. C. To focus solely on academic results without considering legal implications. D. To minimize student involvement in decision-making processes. 5. Which of the following best describes the role of assessment in adult education? A. To evaluate only the final outcomes of a learning program. B. To provide feedback to learners and adjust the curriculum based on their needs. C. To determine the teacher's effectiveness solely based on test scores. D. To conduct assessments only at the end of a program. 6. What is a key component of effective adult learning programs? A. Avoiding real-world applications in learning tasks. B. Ensuring that content is delivered in a strictly linear manner. C. Providing opportunities for learners to reflect on and apply new knowledge. D. Relying on one-way communication from instructor to learner. 7. What is the importance of cultural competency in adult learning environments? A. To focus exclusively on the teacher's culture. B. To make sure the learning content is culturally neutral. C. To incorporate diverse perspectives and accommodate cultural differences in learning styles. D. To avoid discussing cultural issues to maintain focus on academics. 8. In adult learning, what role does motivation play in successful learning outcomes? A. Motivation has little impact on adult learning success. B. Motivation is necessary for deep engagement and retention of information. C. Motivation is only needed in the initial stages of learning. D. Motivation only affects academic performance, not overall learning. 9. Which of the following is a common challenge in curriculum development for adult learners? A. Developing content that is too basic for the learner's level. B. Ensuring the curriculum is based solely on theoretical knowledge. C. Designing content that meets the learner's unique needs and prior experiences. D. Avoiding flexibility in the delivery of the curriculum. 10. When considering the needs of adult learners, what is one critical factor in their ability to succeed? A. The rigid structure of the program. B. Prior learning experiences and knowledge. C. The uniformity of teaching methods. D. The ease of the content material. 11. Which of the following strategies best supports the evaluation process in adult learning? A. Using only objective tests to measure learning. B. Relying on a single evaluation method for all learners. C. Incorporating a variety of assessments, including self-assessments and peer evaluations. D. Avoiding assessments until the end of the program. 12. In the context of mentoring, what is the primary goal of building rapport with a mentee? A. To build trust and facilitate open communication. To ensure the mentee agrees with everything the mentor suggests. C. To challenge the mentee with difficult tasks immediately. D. To establish a hierarchical relationship between mentor and mentee. 13. Which of the following is an example of a regulatory compliance issue in an educational environment? A. Allowing students to freely express their opinions. B. Using teaching methods that are approved by accreditation bodies. C. Ignoring learner feedback on course effectiveness. D. Encouraging informal learning sessions outside the classroom. 14. In adult education, what is the purpose of collaborative learning? A. To encourage competition among students. B. To help students develop teamwork and communication skills. C. To ensure learners work independently without assistance. To focus only on individual performance. 15. What is the primary function of ongoing professional development for educators? A. To maintain the status quo in teaching practices. B. To help educators stay current with new teaching methods, tools, and research. C. To assess educators solely based on student test scores. D. To limit educator involvement in policy changes. 16. Which of the following statements best represents the philosophy of adult learning? A. Adults need strict instructions without deviations from the curriculum. B. Adults learn best through passive observation of the content. C. Adults are self-directed learners who take responsibility for their learning. D. Adults should always be taught by a subject matter expert with no exceptions. 17. How does communication impact mentoring effectiveness? A. Effective communication is a minor part of mentoring. B. Clear, open, and consistent communication enhances the mentoring relationship. C. Communication is only important for administrative purposes. D. Mentors should limit their communication to avoid overwhelming the mentee. 18. In curriculum design, what does the term learning outcomes refer to? A. The learning goals set by the teacher without learner input. B. The assessment of student behavior in the classroom. C. The specific knowledge, skills, or abilities a learner is expected to demonstrate by the end of the course. The general objectives of the institution that are not specific to the course. 19. How can a teacher ensure compliance with legal and ethical standards in adult education? A. By only teaching standardized content without adjustments. B. By maintaining transparency, adhering to regulations, and respecting learner confidentiality. C. By avoiding conversations about legal issues with students. D. By focusing solely on content delivery and avoiding administrative responsibilities. 20. What is the role of feedback in the adult learning process? A. Feedback is irrelevant as adults learn by doing alone. B. Feedback helps learners identify strengths and areas for improvement, fostering growth. C. Feedback should be given only at the end of the course. D. Feedback is unnecessary for experienced adult learners. 21. Which of the following is a characteristic of effective mentoring? A. A rigid structure that does not allow for flexibility. B. Frequent feedback and goal setting between mentor and mentee. C. The mentor making all decisions without input from the mentee. Deepening the relationship focused solely on academic subjects. 22. In adult education, what is the purpose of formative assessments? A. To evaluate student performance at the end of the course. B. To guide instructional adjustments and provide learners with ongoing feedback. C. To assess student knowledge without allowing for changes in teaching strategies. D. To provide a final grade for students. 23. Which of the following is an essential element in developing a supportive learning environment for adults? A. Limiting learner autonomy. B. Encouraging active participation and respecting diverse learning needs. C. Offering a one-size-fits-all approach to content delivery. D. Focusing solely on individual achievements, not group collaboration. 24. What role does self-directed learning play in adult education? A. It is less important than structured learning. B. It allows learners to take responsibility for their learning, making it more effective. C. It should be avoided in favor of more traditional learning methods. D. It only applies to learners with prior formal education. 25. How can a teacher assess whether a student has met the learning objectives? A. By checking the attendance records of the students. B. By using a variety of assessments that measure learners' understanding and application of knowledge. C. By considering only the final exam results. D. By asking students to submit a reflective journal at the beginning of the course. 26. What is the key advantage of using technology in adult education? A. It provides a uniform experience for all learners. B. It allows learners to engage with content at their own pace and time. C. It reduces the need for personal interaction between teacher and learner. D. It eliminates the need for assessments. 27. How does a mentor support a mentee's development? A. By offering constant, unsolicited advice. B. By providing guidance, encouragement, and opportunities for reflection and growth. C. By imposing strict boundaries and limiting the mentee's autonomy. D. By focusing solely on the mentee's weaknesses. 28. In adult learning, why is critical thinking important? A. It discourages learners from questioning the material. B. It promotes deeper understanding and the ability to apply knowledge in real-world contexts. C. It hinders learners from accepting established facts. D. It is less important than memorization of facts. 29. What is the purpose of using rubrics in assessments? A. To evaluate only the technical aspects of student work. B. To provide clear expectations and consistent grading criteria for learners. C. To make grading more subjective and inconsistent. To encourage learners to focus solely on correct answers without understanding the process.